BLM reinstates NM oil lease at 20% royalty. Eddy County. A terminated oil and gas lease in Eddy County, New Mexico, is getting a second life. The Bureau of Land Management has proposed reinstating lease NMM 139349 for Earthstone Permian LLC, restoring the operator's federal authorization on Delaware Basin acreage that had lapsed, and doing it under terms that reflect what federal leasing now costs. The reinstatement would be backdated to November 1st, 2022, running through the remainder of the lease's primary term. Procedurally, it's routine. What's less routine is the royalty rate, 20% above the floor the Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, set for onshore federal leases. Getting back in costs more than it used to. What changed and why it costs more now? Federal onshore oil and gas leases used to carry a minimum royalty rate of 12.5%, a figure set decades ago and largely unchanged until the IRA raised the floor to 16.67% for new and reinstated leases in 2022. The 20% royalty here clears that bar with room to spare. Add the $20 per acre annual rental, and operators reinstating lapsed leases in competitive basins are taking on meaningfully higher holding costs than their counterparts with older agreements. That's not an accident. The IRA's leasing reforms were designed to ensure that federal royalties better reflect market value and to generate more revenue for the states and counties where production occurs. New Mexico, which receives 49% of federal mineral leasing revenues collected within its borders, has a direct financial stake in how those rates are set. Related federal oil and gas leasing near national parks faces legal challenge. EIA forecast power demand to climb through 2027. Eddy County and the Delaware Basin. Eddy County has been among the top producing oil and gas counties in the country for several consecutive years. The southern Delaware Basin, which runs through Eddy and Lea counties in New Mexico before crossing into West Texas, remains one of the most actively drilled areas in the Permian and one of the most competitive for federal lease access. Earthstone Permian LLC is a subsidiary of Permian Resources Corporation, which acquired Earthstone Energy in 2023. The company has maintained a significant operational footprint across the basin. Reinstating this lease keeps that acreage in play rather than allowing it to cycle back into competitive sale. The Permian Basin is also in the middle of a broader infrastructure and energy transformation. Water management, power demand, and decarbonization pressure are all reshaping how operators develop acreage there. Context that makes lease continuity more strategically significant than a single notice might suggest. Related, nuclear heat meets water waste in new Permian partnership. What to watch? BLM's proposal is not yet final. Once all administrative requirements are confirmed, the reinstatement becomes effective. For land professionals, operators, and procurement teams monitoring active BLM leasing in the Delaware Basin, this notice marks the formal reentry of lease NMM 139349 into active federal status. More broadly, the royalty terms here are a data point worth tracking. 20% is not the ceiling, it's an applied rate on a specific negotiated reinstatement. As BLM continues processing new and reinstated leases under post-IRA rules, the pattern of what rates are being accepted and where will matter to anyone modeling the economics of federal acreage in the Permian. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment and Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team.